Hey, welcome to the Runaways podcast. My name is Cody. We are back for another week of ProQuest results, and it has finally happened. She's gone. Aurora is dead, and we do not have to deal with her anymore. Some people are pretty sad. Some people are happy about it. I guess we'll talk about that later, but we have much more important things to do on this podcast, which is tier list time. So it is the tier list podcast for the brand new meta that lasts for 4 weeks, but it's still very important, and we will get to that shortly. But Noah, you had what, 2 more ProQuests this
Yep.
weekend? How'd they go? How'd your deck perform this weekend?
I mean, it was probably impossible for it to perform any better. I was feeling like strangely super excited to go play in ProQuest. Usually, like after I get my invite at one of these, I'm kind of just like, whatever, I'll go to one if it's close. But both of mine were like a 2-hour drive, and I was like super motivated because I've really been enjoying this Florian deck. The first one, I went undefeated in Swiss, and then I committed kind of an accidental BM where the store owner was playing in the tournament. Like he had a different person doing TO, but he was like playing in the tournament. And we were matched up in top 8. And I was looking at the bracket and I was like, oh no, I'm going to have to play against a Kano in top 4. And he's like, well, you know, I could beat you in top 8, right? I was like, oh, my bad, bro. So yeah, so I lost to the Kano in top 4.
Accidental BM, and it's just insulting some guy.
Yeah, my bad.
Also accurate.
Yeah, I mean, it also transpired, so, you know, validation. And then, yeah, on Sunday, I went 8-0. I changed like one card, I think. Yeah, the deck just felt like so sick. I played into like a bunch of Auroras too. That felt like a pretty favorable matchup as long as I didn't get Omega high rolled. So I think I'm happy to see her go in terms of just like objective health of the game. But I felt pretty good about my list into that matchup in general. So I'll have to, you know, rework it a little bit for the upcoming meta.
Nice. That's what, 3 PQ wins yourself, and then
I'm like 28-2 on the season, something stupid.
Nice meta
that is
there,
pretty
man.
great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love it, dude. Our
like
meta's
not
all
the
just like
overlord
Auroras, Florians, and Assassins. It's like it's very nice. There's like half a Kano per tournament. It's great.
Okay. Dan, you had some events this weekend, at least one.
Yeah, I had exactly one ProQuest at Gilded Raven Games. Great store. Yeah, I kind of high rolled the last 2 weeks of ProQuest because I think I played 0 Auroras, and I've been like testing and preparing like that deck doesn't exist. So just that's been nice. This event was fine. I played Florian. I've been doing the thing where I'm just trying to play a different deck every event so I can get more hands-on practice on these decks to understand them a bit better. So today I played the kind of most meta deck being Florian, or at this event rather. I won the first round against Prism, and then I paired into Kano, and then I paired into Azalea. So my run ended because at least this build of Florian is absolutely terrible against both of those decks. But then I played out. I finished 4-2, 14th place. Was pretty down on the deck, and then I stayed for the armory after the event, which was CC, and then I got to vibe with Florian a bit more. Now I really like the deck. I kind of hate where the deck is like positioned though. It just like dumpsters a certain class of decks, which we'll get into later, and it also just like auto loses to this other section of decks. So I don't know. But anyway, the event was great. Gilded Raven's great. I didn't do so well.
Perfect. Lucas, you had your one of 2 events?
Yeah, well, so for
ahead.
this season, I had 3 ProQuest scheduled. If you guys are astute listeners of the pod or people in my DMs, you remember that I fell asleep for the first one. So thank you all for that. The second one was last week. I lost in top 8. This one, I had to drive about a couple hours with my friends, and I have been borrowing my Aurora cards all season, and I had to give them back. So I no longer have an Aurora deck, and I don't really have another deck. I tried to find cards for Verdance, but I couldn't really get them all together in time because I didn't really think about this until Friday. The event is on Saturday, of course. And so it's Friday night. I realized that I don't have a deck for ProQuest that I've already planned to go to. And I messaged my friend, and he has my new deck. And I'm like, hey, Austin, can I have this deck? Because we had already planned to give it off to me. And so I was like, cool, I'll just play new, whatever. I'll go like 2-3 drop. It'll be fine. I give my friends a ride. And then I show up and I get the new deck. And I just like look at it. I like open it up. I'm like sorting through the cards. I'm like going to FAB. I'm like gonna submit my deck and gem. And I'm like, really? Like I just drove 2 hours for this thing. Like it's been kind of a stressful morning. Like, am I really about to do this? And then I'm like, I turned to my local to my right, one of the guys who drove up with me, and I was like, you said you had Prism in your bag, right? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, I'll just take that. And so yeah, I played Prism. I went 7-0, won the tournament. Pretty standard.
4-rounder? What the heck?
No, it was we split finals, so it was 5 rounds.
Oh, sure.
Although it was Kasai in the finals. He wanted his name on the Roll of Honor, and I figured that if we played it out, that would not happen. So I wanted to let him get that. Prism was good. I had a funny story. I sit down for my round 2. And I've never been to the store before, so like a lot of these people are like fans of the podcast and they're meeting me for the first time. And so I sit down for my round 2 opponent, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm Lucas. Nice to meet you." And he like rolls out his mat, and it's a Blazing Aether mat. And so I say, "Okay, you're playing Kano?" And he says, "Yes, I'm playing Kano." I'm like, "Okay, I'm playing Prism." And he looks me stone dead in the face, and he says, "No, you're not." And I'm like, "No, I actually am. I'm playing Prism." And he's like, No, you're playing Aurora. I know you're playing Aurora because you told me on the pod you're playing Aurora, of course." And I'm like, no. And I pull out, I like roll my mat out, I show him the Prism, and then and then I also beat him in top 8. So sorry, Elliot. I'm sorry that I pulled new out of the bag and decided to play Prism instead. But it was a cool event. Historically speaking, I don't know if people remember when I talked about this a while ago, but last time I played Prism was a similar situation where I picked it up the night before. It was my first time playing it, and then I won back-to-back ProQuest the next day or that weekend. So apparently I'm supposed to just not play Prism for months and then pick it up the night before ProQuests and take it to events, and it's just a cheat code for winning gold foils apparently. So it's good to know.
Fair. Yep. When you get good matchups, or Prism's pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
You play 7 rounds and 2 of them are Kano? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was
That must be nice.
2 Kano, 2 Aurora, 1 KO, 1 Mario, and then something else. I don't know. Something else not super hard, I think. It was, what was it? I don't know, whatever.
Fair. I decided this week to pack up the new as well. I just took it, put it in a box, and said no more of this. And I said, Noah, give me your list. And so I took the list. I took it to my locals first to just like be like, am I going to play it or not? And then I 3-0'd my armory, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm playing this. And then my locals, or my tournament this weekend was at my locals, so I had to go back and defend it, from everyone who was coming to try and take the invite. And so I sat down, I looked around the room, and I'm like, this is great. There's one Kano that I'm afraid of. If I just don't play this Kano, I think I win the tournament. I didn't play that Kano, so I went 8-0. So it was like every match I sat across from as like playing this Florian deck, like no matter what happened in the game, I was just like, oh, I just wait till this happens later, and then I just win the game anyway. Like it doesn't matter what happens. Like my opponents would like have great openers. I'm playing against Prism, and they drop Library and they drop an Aura at the same time. And I'm like, oh, that's usually pretty bad on turn 3. And then I'm just like, oh, I'm Florian. None of this matters. Like the deck just like worked, and I like smushed through everything. There was like a couple of close games against Reinar because that's kind of like a race, but I still just got there against Reinar, which I thought was a testament to the deck. And then I know Gary Gold also played the same version and won his ProQuest as well.
I think he went 8-0.
Yeah, he went undefeated as well. It's just like when you're playing like a good list.
Wait, no,
and
did
you're
you
playing
lose
Florian,
a game this weekend?
I lost 1 game to Kano. So it's like 13-1 on the weekend. Yeah, only losing to Kano.
But then if you include like Cody and Gary too, like that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's unreal.
Yeah. So it's been a pretty sick run, I think. Also, it's really funny. I'm in top 8. I play my top 8 match against an Ira, and I win. And then I look over at the bracket, and I'm like, oh, the Kano is in my bracket. And I'm like, well, it was a fun run. I guess there's a small chance I can win this. Like there's potential. So like, I'm not going to do myself out of this yet. I could be the protagonist. And then I look over and I'm like, oh man, I'm playing the Kano. And then the guy who was playing as Kano was like, no, you're playing me, and he was playing Slippy. Slippy just like beat the Kano for me, and I was like, oh, you're the best. I love you. And I come back, he sit down and just beat the Slippy. I'm like, this is great for me. Like, it was like a complete 180 of my emotions. I was like, well, it was a good tournament, and I was like, oh, I win the tournament. Okay, we're good. We're in.
So you got the invite, Cody?
Yep, got my invite.
Ooh.
It was funny because the person that I matched into was Dex, the person that I scooped to get his invite, and then I sat down and looked at him and said, I knew scooping to you was a good idea, because now I just like, no matter what happens, I automatically get the invite. So I actually got to play a whole tournament, like no scoops, no concessions, no anything, just like play the whole tournament out. And that for people who like know, like that's like super rare at ProQuest level.
That sounds
Yeah,
like
it's
eventually be able to
event-ended
play
too.
the whole
It was
tournament.
nice
Yeah.
to see.
I have only done that a few times where I've like actually been able to play the whole thing.
Yeah, usually something happens in the top cut where you're like trying to do something, but it just worked out. So I was super excited. Okay, there is a bunch of stuff to cover before we get into the tier list stuff, because a dev talk dropped that was just like full of news. And just quickly on what happened last week for ProQuest, Aurora won 1 million games, and Florian was really close to that, and then everything else was below that. So cool, Aurora's gone. We'll see where all those points go moving forward, probably to Florian, but we'll see what happens. But more importantly, the dev talk, we found out a couple of very interesting things, and I want to get some people's opinion on this. There was a misprint, apparently, in the Aurora Armory deck on how Serenade was supposed to work. Lucas, since you actually really like this deck, you want to explain to people what the issue was?
Yeah, so Skyward Serenade, as intended, I believe, says choose 2, search Skizik, banish, you can play it this turn, make an embodiment, your next thing gets +1, and then Go Again is supposed to be the 4th mode, which means that when you play the card, it is either make an embodiment, give your next thing +1, or search Skizik functionally. Or you can give it Go Again with something like Arc Lightning and then maybe play it normally. But what it actually does is it's just Skizik with Go Again every single time you draw it. So I basically went from this card that nobody would have played, I promise you, this card would not have been in Aurora decks at the Pro Tour, to being like...
I don't agree, but okay.
I think the card is just not a card that would have been.
I just think that the function of the card changes, right? Like people played Sizzle as a way of like buffing up your sword, being like a 0-for-3 lightning.
Mhm.
You can think of this card as kind of the same thing.
I guess
where like it's
I
like
guess-
a 0-for-3 lightning. You just have to do it at the end,
I think
and it's also a yellow.
I think basically like
Sounds
Serenade
terrible.
would have been a card that people would have considered, and then everybody would have realized it's bad. Like
Yeah.
I don't
It's
think
like
it's
no shot. It's like one of the most garbage cards I can think
Yeah,
of.
it's really bad.
compared
It's
to what
like
she
it's like
has.
0-for-3. It's 0-for-3. You have to play 3 Skiziks in your deck, which are kind of bad, and also like it's just like 2-block non-attack that's not on rate. Like it's like everything that Aurora doesn't want to do. Like it's not even above rate. Like she doesn't play any cards that aren't above rate.
You're cutting like Static Shock for this card.
Yeah, you're literally gonna say. Yeah.
Oh, Lucas is. That's why I use that example.
No, I think the other thing that they mentioned on the dev talk, I haven't actually watched it to clarify, but I heard that they mentioned that they wish that they had banned Flicker Wisp. Is that true? They
Yep.
I think it's interesting because my belief is that if Serenade was printed as intended, and if they had banned Flicker Wisp, if they had done both of those things, then I think Aurora would still be legal for like 3 more months, if not more. I think like that, like if not like a long time, maybe. I think that those 2 things were a really big deal for her being able to kind of exist in the Mystic meta. I think without Serenade and without Flicker, I think that the Enigma matchup would have just been really hard. I think Aurora was ahead into Enigma at the event, but I think it was real close, and I think you had to have a good plan. And I think that without those tools, that matchup is just terrible. I think Zen probably without Serenade is also just a little bit even more so than he already was ahead into you. And then without Flicker, Florian just like rolls over you, I think. Primarily because without Flicker, people get to build their decks knowing you don't have Flicker. So they just get to play all the D-reacts. They probably play the stack version and just like roll you. Because you can't really like do anything. You just throw your hands into them and they just get all their value on defense. You can't do the Flicker thing. So It is interesting to note how they took this timeline, and at least in my opinion, like they could have not LL'd Aurora. Like there was a very real timeline where Aurora still exists today, and so I think it's interesting that like those two just like accidental or like very close decision things just ended up changing that so much.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would have played Zen at Pro Tour if Serenade had been printed that way,
Yeah, me
because
too.
that was one of the pieces that made the matchup flip a little bit, because they never had off turns, which was pretty frustrating. But interesting to have like an actual print error as something that occurred in the game.
Do you think it's
big one? Like a
do you
really
think it's a good thing that they told us?
What was that?
Do you think it's a good thing they told us about the print error, or would you prefer to just
Probably
like
not.
keep it a mystery?
I think it's TMI again. They keep like oversharing.
I think it's actually an interesting take where like this is like the first time it's, I don't know. It's like if there's this weird aspect where like if they say that they did it once, then we'll assume that they never do it again. If they just like never say anything
I remember
again.
I said the same thing the last dev talk. I forgot what it was, but I remember saying
It was when
much
they shared
information.
like the Slack stuff about the needles.
yeah, exactly. Like, why are you telling us this? Like,
Yeah. To be fair, I think the needle thing was like it just made them look like they were optimally doing their job, and this just looks
Correct.
like somebody.
They hired people who suboptimally did their job.
Yeah, I think that's better though. Like if it's like a physical error, that's like a lot more fixable. Whereas I think the needle thing, a lot of people saw that and they saw this is not what I want you guys to be doing, and they were doing it on purpose. Like I think some people were frustrated with, like they saw into their process and they saw that it was a bad process, which was the concern at the time. I think this is slightly different, where like this isn't like James White or Brian's fault at all. So like the face of the company isn't, I think, too demonstrably defaced by this at all.
yeah, I don't care too much either way. It's just weird to do it like after the fact and like the issue already occurred that she LL'd. Now you're gonna be like, hey, we made this mistake. Like, why didn't you say it before if that was the plan? Or I guess they're trying to like soften the blow. I don't know.
They could also just like, I think there's a better way to frame it. There was a I think his name is Jerome. He used to do like casting for Yu-Gi-Oh events. Maybe Lucas remembers.
Yeah, Jerome McHale.
Yeah, Jerome McHale. He like talked one time on a broadcast when he was doing commentary about like some of the original designs for cards. Like there's this card that was basically changed when it went to production, Spiral Super Agent, where it used to be not once per turn. Every time you summon it, you got to use its effect. Then they changed it because they thought it was too powerful, made it like only the first time you summon it. So I think something like that could have been cool if they like explained it away that way, as like, here's how we tested Serenade and Dev. It was like this effect, and then here's what went to print. Then it's more of like a positive aspect of like, look at the dev process.
To be fair, I actually heard someone say that was what happened. I again have not watched the dev talk, so I don't know if it was like unclear at all what they said, but
No, they were very clear about saying that a card made it into the game that was not intended,
Yeah,
and was not the way that they had been testing it. Because obviously, if you look at if you think about it logically, they're looking at the sheet. When the sheet gets moved over to whoever's job it is to transform it into how it's going to print in the card, it said go again in the last mode. And so that can obviously have been read as like, oh, this card has go again, because that's also a similar formatting to how it would look if it had go again. So I understand how the mistake happens. We have a lot to get to, so I think we can jump off this topic a little bit, because I also wanted to mention how they said that the ELO system is dead. It's officially going to be gone by 2026. Not like by the beginning, it'll be a new system will be in place. So this is the last year of ELO, so that's pretty cool. It looks like it's going to have something to do with all of the changes that we've been making to the website, and they're back in there. It'll probably be retroactive, so I think that's pretty cool as well.
Sweet.
When you say it'll probably be retroactive, is this like you have knowledge that it will be, or do you like, is there a
the
chance
way that they the way that they talked about it was that they needed to put a bunch of things in place to do all the computations to be actually have to make the system work, and it doesn't like
it's not that hard.
You could just do all that backwards because they have all that details. They've done retroactive ELO stuff before, like when they and so there's no reason why they wouldn't be able to do it.
I wonder if they'll offer people a system reset. You know, you're like, if you're below 1500, you can like get bumped up when we do this in the new system.
I would be very surprised if they just like did new system from zero, but from scratch.
It's possible, but yeah, I also agree it's pretty unlikely.
Yeah, I think It seems unlikely given that there seems to be no indication that there's any like compensation for elo. Like I feel like they would never like compensate somebody, but if it's supposed to be a system that like has monetary value, right? Because you can get invites to things. Then like it would be kind of strange to just be like, oh, you have 2,000 elo, you're back to the start now.
Well, I mean,
No.
think about when they combined the two elos together. They just did everything retroactively. I don't see why.
Yeah, we
Like
should
they have
all
a
condemned it.
precedence.
Yeah.
They have a precedence for doing this before,
Yeah.
so they should probably just do it again.
If it's like a drastically different system, they might not do it retroactively, right? Like if it's like if
they have the data, they'll do it. I don't see why they wouldn't.
Well, the thing is, we're assuming that it's like an elo algorithm that they're creating that has more advanced computations and still is some form of when you play against better people, you get better points and whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
But it could also be something else.
I think if you listen to the talk, that's kind of what they're insinuating, is that it's like
Yeah.
some complex algorithm-based system, not just like pro points.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they
not
have
just straight-
everyone's like matchup data. Like
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
game they won or lost against a player.
Yeah, we could be wrong, but I agree with Noah where it sounded like it's just advanced elo instead of
Mhm.
just like straight chess elo, because chess elo doesn't work in a variance-based game. Like
Yeah.
it just
Yeah.
doesn't work. So that's what it sounded like. Obviously, could be very wrong. Could be a completely different
Hopefully,
system.
it's. I think it'll probably be good. That's my expectation.
It could be a mix of multiple, so we'll see. But that's very exciting. They also announced that Aurora will be reprinted in some form next year, like literally like a year from now. June of 2026, you will see a new Aurora.
Yeah. I've seen some people complaining that like other heroes haven't gotten replacements. But I just want to remind people that first of all, we like don't know what's coming out. Like they could just be reprinting Droma and Isota by then anyway. But also that's like around the time that we got for a lot of the other heroes anyway, right? It was a little bit longer for them, right? It was like a year and a half, but most of them were not too much longer than that.
Well,
right?
Dromai's been a year, so
Mhm.
And
We haven't-
also, they
and
made the
Icelander's
distinction-
been longer than that.
The
they made the
replacements are
distinction
so fake
specifically that Arc Lightning would be playable. So this hero is going to be named Aurora,
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
which is a pretty big difference from the other ones where like I know I've harped on this on the past, like the specializations are giga broken and they should stop naming people the same names, but looks like they're going to keep doing it.
Cool. And then the last major announcement, this thing was like, you have to watch the dev
Yeah,
talk at some
it's
point
pretty
if you
short,
haven't
too.
watched it. Like it's very short. It's packed full. We are also getting bans on the 19th,
Mhm.
and they are sweeping bans. This is like the words that they use. Like these are major bans that are happening on the 19th.
That makes sense to me.
Apparently they already know what they are. They're like shake up level.
It's the zero.
And they're trying to do it. No, this is what they said.
Mhm.
And they're trying to do it ahead of time so that US 4 Nats can adjust to this before they have to adjust to the next, to the set dropping.
It's D-Reacts is my guess. It feels like
So-
that's in some
Yeah.
capacity.
So
Oh, there's so many
Yeah,
cards they could hit right now.
Well, I didn't know that they said that there was like sweeping bans. I just heard it was
Yes.
something that would shake up the format, like one ban or two.
I think Cody's interpreting a little bit.
Sure.
I am. If you listen to the way that they said it, it's not how they normally talk about bans when it's just like one or two cards. It feels like it's like another fundamental type of ban. I'm not saying it's a bookend again, but it seems a little bit more than
Okay.
we're used to.
Yeah, there's at least like 10 cards on my radar.
CYB
Yeah.
is the number one public enemy, right?
No. It's
You
like
don't
number
think
6.
CYB.
It's on the
should be
list,
banned,
but it's
though.
like low for me.
Really?
Dude, I don't know how you're supposed to ever beat like Azalea if you don't have CYB in this meta.
But no, like
Uh,
Kano should get banned. I'm
ADLL
expecting like
points
Kano
is
bans,
What beats
etc.
Azalea.
I guarantee we have a podcast question about this topic though. So
Yeah.
let's just hold off on what we think the bans are until then. But I think that's finally all of like the the announcement section of what has happened this last week, because it has been a little bit crazy. But let's actually get into the tier list where we can get a lot of these thoughts out on what heroes are actually going to look like. Okay, so we have the tier list pulled up. This is going to be a little off the cuff and a little bit kind of how we think it should roll out, because obviously there's not been a lot of time to test a non-Aurora meta. We've been doing a little bit of it when you just kind of like show up to your PQ and just be like, I hope I don't play an Aurora. Like that's, sort of how the matchup's been tested. But I would like to dig into this a little bit and just what do we think are the best decks right now? Obviously, all of this changes in 4 weeks, but we do have a battle harden. There are still ProQuest going on. Like there's actual stuff to play for in this meta that's happening right now.
Just put the stupid Leaf Man in S tier. I get it. He's good.
Oh, I don't think it's
Uh,
S tier at all.
Yeah, we don't agree with this. So let's
Oh,
fine. You brought it up. So let's talk about Florian. I'm gonna put it here in the passion picks area.
Don't
That
screenshot, please.
doesn't need to exist. So I have Florian in just like this waiting. He's just going to be a waiting area here. Okay, so what do we think? Because I do not think this is S tier.
No,
It's
he's
okay to be
like the
wrong.
very top of A tier.
Yes.
His only bad
He's the
matchup is
default,
Kano.
easy to play, pretty good deck.
yeah, this is unreasonable. Come on, guys. Every deck sucks.
I don't know,
His
man.
only like
He's
his
A
only
tier
bad
because of what I
matchup.
think is S tier.
What do you think it is other than Kano?
I think if we're being
Azalea.
realistic,
the last time we put Kano and Azalea in S tier, it was heavy hitters.
yeah, if we're being realistic,
Yep.
people aren't going to play those heroes to the play rate that would make Florian not S tier.
Yeah, like who cares if his
I just don't think that's
his-
Okay. So let's redefine.
You guys got
Let's
to be
because
chat.
no. This is a good point. Let's
Okay.
redefine. How are we gonna clarify this tier list? Because is it what we believe is the actual truth of the game, or is it a ProQuest tier list of what is in
I
these
think
tiers?
this
Because
is for-
those are two different things.
This
I
is
think
for
it should be
ProQuest
defined.
and Battle Hardens. This is
Yeah.
what I think this is.
I
for.
would
For
not
the
bring
next,
Florian
like,
to an event.
This should be, if you're playing in an event, whether that's a PQ, Battle Hardened, whatever it is, you're going to play in an event. What should you take? What are the best choices? I think should be an S tier, and then the next best choice is an A tier.
Okay.
So-
I can accept it. I can accept that if we want to do this for what are you expecting to play, and what should you probably play at a ProQuest Battle Harden for this meta, then yes. Not like not pure science, what is the actual true real answer. Let's just say like what we think might happen. I
Which
get
is why
100%
Florian
agree
is S tier.
then
Yeah.
that it should be S tier. You're gonna play against Florian. You have to beat Florian. And if you're playing Florian,
Oh, sure.
there's a million matchups in the game that you're just like you just sit down and crush. And
Well,
and if your build is good, you crush even matchups that they don't expect you to crush.
And your bad matchups are just like the least played heroes in the game.
Yeah,
Like,
so
no,
you guys keep saying that, but this is why I don't like Florian, because Florian is the meta. Like, nothing is even close to this deck. So if I'm going to a tournament, I'm playing Florian, I'm playing Kano, or I'm playing Azalea. Like, that's my list. Maybe Jarl.
Yeah, but that's just like not how FAB works. There's not more than half the people in the room entering with Florian.
that works if you assume that everybody's a genius, but like that just has never happened. Like if you play Florian at a tournament, you're gonna sit down and you're going to be the best deck. Because whether or not you are targeted as the best deck doesn't matter. You just like people aren't gonna accurately.
He's not the type of best deck like Aurora where like your bad matchups you can win. Like you just lose.
I don't think that's true into Azalea. It's probably true into Kano, but Azalea,
It's
you can
definitely
still-
not
Azalea's
true.
pretty close. You could probably like tech your deck in a way that you can beat it.
Azalea is also not that bad of a matchup for.
Also-
playing that matchup historically, it's always been fine. I think some of the current Florian lists are like getting cute with a lot of things, and that makes the Azalea matchup hard. But like
you can actually cut some cards now that Aurora's gone that would then make your matchup a little bit better into
Yeah. Azalea is
other
also
ways of the decks.
very easy to tech for as a blue heavy earth hero. Like you have so much that you can do to make that matchup better.
Like what?
I'm fine.
Unmovable is the first thing that comes to
Yeah,
mind.
Summerwood Shelter.
Dude, they
is
play
also
Dreadboard.
a reason. No, Summerwood Shelter is like pretty
Dude,
sick.
if they play Dreadboard, then your win condition is just not play Gearx because they're just playing a shit deck. Like,
You can try, man. I suggest testing it.
Anyway, but Summerwood Shelter is actually
You could
correct.
play like Seeds though.
It's like a real card.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, something.
Next, let's just go in order. Feng. I think this deck's actually pretty good. But what are we thinking about Feng?
I think he's like the definition of a B tier deck. Like if somebody has a breakout, like really strong list that proves he deserves to be an A tier, I'll believe it. But he doesn't have results or lists circulating that lead me to believe that he belongs higher than B tier. I think power wise, he like maybe should be A tier, but I need to see that.
I feel like he exemplifies a lot of what we used to think about Florian, where you kind of want to draw certain cards early and then other cards late. But I think Fang takes it to like the nth degree where your opponent has agency in determining whether you're going to have your hero power online or not.
Mhm.
Florian didn't really have that as much. If you built him to like be, a bit more proactive, you could at least fill your own graveyard with Earths, turn on your own hero power. Whereas Fang, like most of the common builds I'm seeing just have 3 pledge fealty and 3 affirm loyalty as like the 100% guarantee fealty makers. And so like if you're not drawing those early, or your opponent has a way of clearing fealty tokens, as some meta relevant heroes do, then I think he yeah, he just like can't really be above B tier.
He's
Yep, I
also pretty poorly positioned, right? We're in like the closest thing we've ever been able to consider a wizard meta. I don't know how his
You were just
Florian
denying
matchup
the
is.
wizard meta. Hold on.
Well, no, I think that
Like in a slow meta, he should
Wizard
be really
has-
good, right?
well, I think into wizard in particular, he's
The problem is you have Florian, who has like Summer's Falls, Runic Reclamations to set him back, infinite defensive cards to prevent the on hit mark type effects.
Yeah.
And then you have both wizards which have Scour, so it's like
well,
you
and,
just have
and
so
the
many
wizards,
like auto win cards against you.
the wizards
I agree.
also just like blow you up immediately. Like you just get
Mhm.
because you just can't.
They deal true damage.
Yeah,
So
you just die.
And Jarl also gives you Frostbites. You're a red line deck. It's like
He blows up.
seems
He blows
difficult.
up your like main value
we
engine.
we can adjust it up and down depending on what A ends up looking like.
Yeah, I think B's good.
But
I would believe
But
if someone
I
said
think
A.
B is good. Okay. How about Syndra? I'm going to put this over here for right
Yeah.
now.
I think
Syndra should be better now, right? With Aurora gone, should be.
Should be.
I actually
Aurora was a bad match.
yeah, I think she's just kind of bad.
I'm not
Like,
ready
she-
to talk about the Draconic Ninjas yet. No, like I need the full picture to know where they fit, you know? They're always on the edge. They're like unplayable or they're like good meta picks.
I think it's like waiting room tier if Gravy Bones is good and you want to potentially.
Well,
farm
we're not
him.
there yet.
Yeah,
That's
that's
not
the
this
thing.
meta.
It's waiting room tier of its B tier for now. Just off the fact that it has like inherently strong engine, right? You're dealing true damage similarly. How you were talking about with the other guy, like you're I just think Syndra's similar draconicness of having decent game plans against her with removing fealty, removing a lot of her power plays, as well as just like preventing her from playing 5-card hands, which a lot of the Florian, Jarl, Earth heroes do. It's it seems tough.
Mario. I actually think it's pretty high because of Slippy's play rate.
Do we want to build this tier going one by one, or do we want to build out the top first? I feel like this is a meta where we want to define like
Sure.
what kind of meta it is first.
You want to grab S's first?
Yeah, grab Kano, throw him up there.
Grab Kano. Kano is S tier, 100%. Top of
Kano is
top
S
of
tier for sadness. Please don't play Kano.
Kano's
He's for
pretty
sure
good.
getting a ban.
Yeah, he has to pick up a ban on some cards. He just kind of eats most of the
Kano
decks
should
right
get
now.
an unban. Actually, I think they should unban Tome of Tome of Findall and Tome of Aetherwind just so he fucking LLs and we don't have to deal
Aetherwind, maybe.
with this stupid hero. Yeah, you can ban Tome of Findall again once Kano LLs, unsuspended until Kano LLs, and then it goes away again.
But yeah, Kano's just great. Okay, what is the other S tier? Because I think it's Azalea.
Yeah, she's ARS.
Yeah,
The deck's still
she's
not. It's
one
not
of
like
those two.
hyper consistent or anything.
I struggle to ever
context, I
put
think
Azalea
she's
into
towards
S
the top.
tier.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think she's just like definition top A tier deck. Like she just always exists in A tier. Where like her numbers are better than basically everybody.
I can
else.
see that because her Kano match is also bad.
Her Kano match is not bad. It's
Yeah, it's
It's
fine.
not good.
You have the
It's
Enchanted
fine.
Quiver now. It's like not that bad.
Yeah, you're right.
It's
The
honestly
quiver
one of the
does help.
best matchups in the format into Kano.
yeah. I think Azalea is actually much better into Kano than most of the other
It's at
decks.
least like kind of coin flippy.
I also think Azalea is just like forever A tier deck. She's just like she does better numbers than basically everybody else in the game, but she can't block and she doesn't have armor, so she's not super robust. It's just like if people let you do your thing, she's broken, and like she just throws her stuff and people deal with her sometimes. I just think she's kind of like Zen was last format, where she's probably just like ahead of most decks, but like all the matches are just kind of like close, and some of them are unfavored, some of them are favored. She's just whatever. But I don't think it's like Florian where you just like crush a bunch of decks, or like Kano where you just like auto win a bunch of matchups.
I think
I
she's
don't
an
know.
A tier deck and an S tier meta for her.
Everything we've listed so far, she's definitely has good matchups in too. Except for the Kano one.
Kano's probably like a little unfavorable.
That's
more.
I would
But
keep
it's not
her.
bad. You're not like dooming.
I would keep her top of A tier.
And this is still in context of current, like how people are currently building their deck. We don't know if Azalea shoots up in play rate, then people will definitely adjust.
Sure. What is
Talk
does
about
someone think
Jarl.
another S
I
tier
think
is?
I don't think there's another S, but I think Jarl's an A.
Yeah, you're also
Yeah.
A tier.
I agree.
Someone
Just
could tell me
solid
on
into the
Verdance
top
being A
decks.
tier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that it might actually have a chance into Kano, depending on how it's built and what happens.
I think you can build Jarl to actually basically dumpster Kano, but you have to like probably put a reasonable amount of space in.
Yeah, there's like 9 different Jarl builds, so like, no one knows actually what it is when you sit down to play it.
Which is a big strength of the hero as well. Like that's one thing worth noting is that like he does all these very different things and like they're very polarizing. Like if you play against CYB Jarl, like you have to play like it's CYB Jarl, and then if it's not, then you get pretty punished.
Yeah, I found that as kind of a annoyance as playing Florian, where it's like, do I want D-reacts because they're going to be throwing like big mangles and smack to realities and stuff, or do I just want all gas because they're going to be like CYB life gain?
Some Florian lists also have a weapon choice to make in that matchup, which is relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if they're playing like stack or whatever, as well. Okay, so what else are we thinking for AS tier? Jarl is an
I mean, I think the rest of the meta is just like the 2 wizards and the prism.
Slippy is the next hero that we should talk about. He's not on this tier list.
He's going to be our Slippy proxy.
Whatever reason. Aurora can be our Slippy proxy, right?
Wait, no, why not Viscera? He's purple.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I'd go purple.
Slippy's pretty purple.
Okay, so now we'll really know if people watched it, because like if someone comments like, "Why is Vince up somewhere?" then they didn't listen to the podcast. But this is Slippy because
fake fans ask why Viscera is A tier.
Yeah, exactly.
That being said, he's A tier.
Is he?
He seems so bad in this meta to me.
I think a lot of people think he's quite strong. I've heard he's pretty strong into Kano, which I'm willing to believe.
He's okay in the Kano.
I think compared to the other decks in the game, he's pretty good. Although I think Kano still has a pretty player. You have Spell Void.
You just play Spell Void 4, I guess.
Yeah, you just have a shit ton of Spell Void, and
you do that. I mean, everyone has
also
matchup then.
You also front load, which is like a pretty big deal against Kano. Like you just like throw stuff that they have to respect immediately.
Yeah, Kano like can't really block against you, right? Because like you just play reacts, and then he committed to blocking, which means he can't kill you.
Yeah, I'm just trying to measure like how much faster than new the deck is. New matchups like really
significantly faster.
Oh, it's way faster than new.
It's not even close.
It's like Slippy will kill you in 3 turns most of the time.
Yeah, because you just like play Kiss of Death, and then you play another attack, and your 2 cards are worth like 10 to 11 damage.
I think Slippy's pretty bad into properly played Florian, personally.
That could be
like I'm very happy to play Florian. At least the list we've been playing into Slippy.
Yeah, like Florian and Jarl feel
all day
like matchups I don't want to play as Slippy.
Correct, I agree. I think the Azalea one is
I would think so unenjoyable on both sides.
Yeah, it's just not good for either player.
I think that Slippy is like one of those decks that exist in metas where, like you said, Azalea. I think Azalea is like a middle A tier deck that is like top of A tier because of the meta. I think Slippy is maybe like a middle A tier deck that is just like top of B or low of A because of the meta. So he has been doing very well. Like throughout ProQuest season, he has been one of the heroes that has been consistently like actually doing well.
Well, it's funny because Slippy has been doing well. Mario showed up last week. Like if you like look at it, like Mario won a bunch of events.
They alternate
but Mario also changed drastically, right? Like everyone's playing this like dagger build now.
Well, yeah, they're playing the Tao build, but like they're also.
No, it's not that build. It's like all in on daggers.
I haven't seen that. Not from the Marios that I was playing against. They were all playing Tao's build. Like literally all of them were playing Tao's build. And like the couple of Slippies were just getting trounced by the Mario players that have now showed back up. Like it was just like they just swapped. They're like, oh, you now can't play the game. Yeah,
I think those 2 heroes are like low A.
I think they're B tier. I think Assassins are B tier.
I think they're B tier personally.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fine. I think Slippy, like I think, like you said, the existence of the bad meta, I think is fine to put him in B because I don't think he's like quite powerful enough to justify. Going up.
I would put Mario right next to him.
Yeah, I would do the same thing.
They're just like the same. Just depends on how many Slippies.
And then I put New right after Mario.
Yeah. Like if Slippy is like if there's more Slippy, then Mario actually goes up to like A tier, and then for like a tournament, that's funny. For New, I would also put New in B.
I think
personally.
I feel like we kind of at some point have to face the music with how strong New is as a hero and like into the meta. Like she has been top 3 wins for like 3 months. Like the whole
she's just played at a higher clip than other people.
I don't know. I don't think we've
She's
seen
also like
decks.
at this
Syndra
level,
was
right? You
played
make
at
a
a higher
mistake, you
level
lose.
too. Yes. That's why I think she, for a ProQuest or a Battle Hardened, belongs in the A tier. Like she has been in the top 3 of wins, in the top 2 for most weeks for the last PQ season, every week and every week of RTN season. Even if she's one of the most played heroes, that happens a lot and they still don't always get wins. Like Syndra was played so much for the first few weeks and she didn't get any wins. Because to win a ProQuest, like you still have to win games against people. Like there's a reason that like Betsy doesn't win a ProQuest every week. Like you have to be a real deck to do that. And to win 20 ProQuests a week or 15 ProQuests a week or whatever, like I don't know. She's not super great.
Yeah, but she put up those numbers in the meta where Aurora is the most played deck, right?
And you're talking this. If we rewind the tapes, this time I know I'm correct.
Yeah.
You recall you had a new deck in your possession, and you returned it to your backpack in favor of a different deck. That doesn't inspire A tier to me.
Oh man, you got me. Put her in B tier.
Dude, put her in passion picks.
You got
Look, I don't know what this means, but every event that I've gone to, the only time a new has top 8'd is when I was playing it. And there has been like 5 new in every room.
I've just had no news. I've just had we've had like 1 new at every ProQuest, but I also only had 2 Auroras at both my ProQuests. So
and in every event that I did well, I played 2 mirrors and just won the mirrors. So like it didn't really count that much when I'm playing new. Like
I need to do a quick side tangent. I don't like where this is going. We're putting all the assassins in B tier. That means it's like spread of bans are going to kill every deck above them, so they can be S tier again.
Yeah, I mean this is what it feels like
based on past.
Yeah, but one of the
I think new is better than this personally, but that's fine.
Agreed. Yeah. Where's Verdant? Someone tell me where Verdant is. I need to play.
Wait, one sec. My comment, I think, on why that now that you said that, Dan, why I think these heroes are so bad is because when you play Codex, it used to be the nuts, but now you play Codex, and then your opponent like gets back Felling of the Crown, and it's not that good.
It's actually like a big deal. The play pattern of play Codex, discard 1 card, block 2 cards on your CNC.
Yeah.
Pitch a blue, play Felling, being like actually just like literally any 4 Florian cards counters the best like 2-card hand that new has in the game is like pretty ridiculous.
It's like really important when you're playing Florian to like make sure you keep a Felling in your grave at all times when you're against like assassins or anyone who can run Codex.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just too neat of like an actual blowout to the best play that they have.
Yeah, instead of them destroying you, you're destroying them back.
Yeah, like it's also like an half as effective against Kano.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just like a clunker instead of
especially in the Kano, right? You're not trying to like empty your hand, play Codex, and then get killed in response.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Do we want to talk about Verdance?
Okay.
Yeah, Verdance is A tier. Verdance great.
I would think A tier, but I haven't played her enough to really like back anything up.
I've heard that the Kano matchup is hard.
Oh,
but I don't know.
Straight to B.
I think also we keep talking about the Kano matchup because he is the top of S tier, but there's like 3 Kanos in every room. It doesn't matter that much. Like
all I'm saying
is there will be 1 or 2 of them in top 8 in most events I would expect. So like it matters, but it's not like
normally to win an event at least around here, in order to win an event, you have to beat a Kano or you have to like get lucky to dodge the Kano. And like that's the only 2 ways that you're gonna win an event around here.
I think that's just because like when you're considering a deck, it's like some of the like it's just deck has a bunch of unlosable matchups. It's just like the nature of it.
I'm fine with like low A tier Verdance just because of the way the meta looks.
I think she's just excellent. I think she's like a really powerful hero that has really adaptable strategies, and I think new is her hardest matchup in the game comfortably. And we are moving away from that hero being in the top. Like she has been doing very well recently. But like you guys say, she is trending down. She looks worse in this upcoming meta than she's looked before. And that is the biggest gatekeeper for Verdance. Azalea, like all of these kind of fair decks are pretty good for Verdance. Like all of these like, Draconic Heroes and Azalea and like Florians and even Jarls to a degree. Like if you have game plans, they feel pretty good. Now I do think that at the highest level, there are things that a lot of the top decks can do to be pretty good into Verdance. But I think it normally just ends up being Verdance plays a bunch of games with people where it's both players have reasonable matchups, if and only if your opponent is like competent. A lot of the times, you just like win.
If we were trying to do like top level, how I feel the meta actually looks, I'd probably put her in B tier. But for like the ProQuest like level and how people are building decks and playing the game right now, I think I agree she's A tier.
Yeah. She's also just like it's really nice to have a hero that is just like weird, for lack of a better way of putting it. Like it makes it harder to play against, where like there's just a lot of stuff that people don't see coming and like don't know and aren't used to. You win a lot of games with Verdants, especially at PQ level, against people that just like don't know what's going on, more so than I think other decks. Like you guess wrong against New, but against Verdants, you just like never have any idea sometimes.
Okay. Let's look at what Prism. You played it this weekend.
Oh, you guys just want me to keep yapping, huh?
Yeah.
I think Prism's good. Florian matchup's not great. But you have the best Kano matchup in the game, which is nice. Like every other deck is like probably I want to dodge Kano. This is the deck that's like I want to see 7 Kanos in a row.
It's like
so
actual 5%, if that. On the
it's like 5% in the. It's really really hard.
It's
like,
really not though.
You basically have to kill them like on turn 1. In my experience, it's like you have to kill them on turn 1. Sometimes you get turn 2.
No, I don't think that's realistic. But
what?
I think you have to like control the board for a few turns and chip.
You can. It just never looks like winning. In my experience, the only games that like the Prism's life total actually goes down to 0 are where she like presents an attack on turn 0 and then dies.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which just
but if you're the Prism, like don't take it too easy. If you mess up, like you will die.
Yes.
If you cut
that's
AB,
usually how the Kano wins.
Yeah. There are some like very important. It is a technical matchup for sure, but you are very good in Kano, and then you're just fine at everything else.
Well, looking at the meta though, she's good in the Verdants.
Mm-hmm.
She's good in the Kano.
Mm-hmm.
She's really bad in the Florian.
Mm-hmm.
How is her Azalea match? Is this pretty even still?
It's always been the same way. It's close. The Azalea has slightly more ability to tech for the Prism, but it takes a lot of deck space. So if the Azalea has like 5 poppers or whatever, she's going to be favored. If she has 0 poppers and 2 Murkmires, she's probably behind. But it's just close.
And then Jarl?
I think the
should be
Jarl...
dependent.
Yeah, that's what I've heard as well. Like all of the Jarl decks that have poppers in their blue base are going to be hard, I would think. But if they're playing...
I feel like I'd rather be on the Prism side of the matchup, though.
So I think A makes sense then, right? Like so far A makes sense.
Yep.
If we put more stuff in A that she's just bad into, then maybe she slides down. But like
I also think you can move her up in A if you want. If you look down as well, she shits on all 5 of the decks below her. Maybe doesn't shit on the Arachnes. I haven't played those matchups enough, but like the new matchup is good and the Draconic matchups are pretty good too. So like
I think if you can solve the Florian matchup, she's like top of A.
Yeah, I think she's like S tier hero if you ignore Florian. She is wherever she is based on how much Florian you expect. So if you're going to a ProQuest with not very much Florian, I think Prism is maybe the best choice that you can make.
Yeah, if it's like actually a really bad matchup though, she's probably B tier.
I think it's a garbage matchup.
Yeah,
for Prism.
It's pretty
especially after.
Well, I think like I don't know, the like surface way to play the matchup. I agree, it's terrible. But if a big brain Prism knows how to beat Florian consistently, then I think it's
the thing is, there's no like way to big brain because Prism has 2 options. You have Heralds and you have Auras.
Yeah.
And Florian's card pool just deals with both. So like you have to invent a 3rd card type.
Yeah. A 3rd more sinister strategy.
Yeah.
Just draw a library on turn 0 every single game.
Yeah, she's probably beat her then. I don't know why we're putting her in A.
Because I think legitimately every matchup other than Florian that we have up here is favored. I think Azalea and Jarl are the only.
Yeah, that's like
two
unplayable at ProQuest, right? Surely you're playing at least 2 Florians in Swiss on average.
I think that's why I said I think it's like she is a fine choice.
Unless your name is Lucas and then you play none and then you win.
Well, like I went to a ProQuest where there was not very much Florian. Like we had a pretty diverse pool.
Yeah, I guess bottom A is fine. If you just don't play Florian, you're thinking like the best deck.
Yeah, you're the best deck in the game.
If you don't play Prism, you just win. If you play Florian, you don't play Kano, you just win. That's fine.
Yeah. There's a lot of that.
Yeah,
you're the best deck in the game.
I retract.
You just can't beat the most popular deck in the game.
Yeah,
cool.
And that's the meta right now.
Can we
bunch of 0%?
Can we try and power through some of these?
Yeah, Iris C tier.
Can we just slam stuff into C real quick?
Just put all the garbage.
Iris C tier.
Yeah.
Betsy Passion.
Wait. What's the difference
between
I don't.
Surely Passion. What do you mean? How is Betsy not Passion?
Oh, okay, sure. Passion picks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel passionately that Betsy belongs there.
Teklo's passion.
Katsu is passion.
Victor's passion. Like
Yeah.
last place passion.
Who?
Don't do Victor.
No,
yet.
that's not true. About
Don't do Victor. Yeah. Don't do Victor yet.
Olympia,
What meta are you guys in?
Max, Bolton, Arachne Huntsman, Bravo. That should be it.
Maybe not.
Maybe not Bravo, actually. Yeah.
People
We can
bring
talk
this
about
back to
everyone else.
reality.
Everyone
Okay.
else is worth talking about.
Okay. We can talk about the rest of them. I'll move this down as well. Okay. Let's talk about Victor then, since you want to talk about Victor.
Yeah,
little
look at
bit.
S tier and then put him in passion picks.
I actually don't think he's like the worst into some builds of Florian,
I don't know how Florian's ever losing that matchup.
because they play Gold Main Estate and make 10 billion mites, and they remembrance back Gold Main Estate and then make 10 million mites, and they throw like Golden Sun for 20.
If you're playing
How
a
is
pretty
the game
defensive,
going this late?
if you're playing a pretty defensive Florian deck, which is part of the Florian decks that exist in.
To be clear, Stack Florian is in passion picks. That's not the Florian in S tier.
Sure. That doesn't mean that it's the Florian that you're going to face when you play against somebody. And if they're playing Stack, they're going to play it in a Victor. And you're going to play 10 gold minutes.
Decent.
Just put him in like passion picks. He sucks.
He's probably C. No, he's C.
He's C.
You
He's
can't
really
underestimate
not.
his ability to just like sack you super hard and win.
Sure.
Yeah, I feel fine about that. I'm gonna put Kasai in C.
What?
It showed
Battle Hardened
look,
champion Kasai?
sure it can't beat Florian, so let's like
Or Kano.
or Verdance.
Kano's actually probably fine for Kasai. Do you remember our Hatchet Dory
That's his
deck?
cope.
No,
so
it can't beat Kano at all.
You don't think so?
No.
No,
Like Kano
not
needs
even
to
a
mess
little
up.
I think if you have cards for
No.
it might be okay.
No,
you
it's
have-
not.
We played this deck for an entire season where like Kano was popular.
Yeah, and you
Yeah,
couldn't.
but
beat
that was Kano with tomes. Oasis Respites and Take It on the Chins are actually like super broken against the Open the Floodgates version. Like if you
Yeah, but they can just
have a
stack
blue
you.
and they can't stack you. Kano can't stack anyone. That's like not how the deck exists anymore.
That's not true.
That's
Yeah,
not even
they
remotely
most certainly
true.
can.
People are just lazy. You just don't need to
Oh.
anymore because you can just like
Kano's actually stacking
off
a
the
lot of
top and
matchups
kill.
now.
Interesting. Every time I see somebody stack, they just get
Dude,
like
it stacks so much harder now.
prevented and died.
You can like draw your whole deck.
Well, the whole point of stacking is to play around prevention because you have 2 wildfires.
Well, but I think what ends up
And you can
happening
like
now
put
is
one of them
that
to 10.
since
if that's
since you
the
basically
method
have to
play.
hit with Open the Floodgates, like people can like anti-stack you by just like keeping an Oasis and like one Take It on the Chin, and you just like pitch a blue and you go. But whatever, it's not good. The deck's bad.
They can also just like play tempo into Kasai and I think dumpster them pretty handily.
Cool. Let's look at KO. Probably
I think
C.
he's the worst breed in this meta.
I also would agree.
That's probably true, dude. As sad as it is.
Yeah, somewhere in C tier.
Really
He,
think
Somewhere in
he,
C
he
tier.
can never
C
be lower than
tier?
C tier, I don't think.
You think C tier?
Dude, he's so bad. What is he good into up at the top? You're bad into Kano. You're bad
He's
into
good into
Florian.
Azalea,
I think
but all the
feel,
breeds are.
I think it just feels like you're probably like fine into a bunch of them. Like you're maybe not good into a lot of. Yeah, Kano's probably a lot harder.
No, not when there's 2 breeds that are just better in this meta.
I feel like bottom of C is just crazy disrespect for a hero that can just
Yeah,
beat
please play
everybody.
Victor into Passion Fix or the bottom.
Like KO can just beat every hero like 20% of the time. Is how it feels.
I don't even think that's true anymore.
No.
Maybe not
man.
with Kano.
He just like has a ceiling of how many good turns he can have.
Sure. Yeah.
Cool. Dio, the best matchup's gone for Dio, right?
What was that Enigma?
Aurora?
I don't think that was the best matchup. It was like an aggro matchup you're slightly ahead in, maybe.
Yeah, I think New's okay as well. There's a couple of these that are fine. I think it's B
Florian's not
tier
great though, right? Yeah.
I don't think you want to play into Florian or Prism
or Jarl
or Jarl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think.
or Azalea.
Yeah. I think it's fine where it is.
I agree. Vincent?
C with I think without
Yeah.
Aurora, I think she should be higher in C. I think she's probably closer to the top
She's
because I do
probably the top of
legitimately
C,
think that she is like a pretty fine deck, but I think without Aurora, she's just like
I
she
think
still has.
you can build Vincent though if you build Vincent to just beat like the decks that are trying to hard fatigue you, I think you can have a pretty good run.
Not
Or like
Jarl.
you really, I think you can like
You
make
just
the
kill
deck.
creepers. What are you gonna do?
But they
How are you
can't
possibly dealing
just kill
damage?
creepers every time. Like they have to draw 2 specific cards in a specific order.
Jarl's gonna go.
There's a few cards they can use now.
There's 2 imposing visages, and then there's
Yeah,
Mangles.
I'm saying they have to see Crumble and they have to see Frozen.
Yeah,
They can
you
make
have
gold.
6
I mean, they will eventually. They're blocking.
Yeah, they will eventually. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I don't
the
know.
Vincent needs like 10 turns just to like be ready to do their combo.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
Sure.
Vincent's anti-fatigue stuff is super slow.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe
And
it.
even when they do their big
Okay.
turn, you can just like have a blizzard.
Fair. Okay, works for me.
Like deck plays like 6
Levia.
blues nowadays, right?
Where's this Levia?
I think
Levi's
she might
probably
be
pretty good in
A-tier.
the Florian, right?
I think Levia just fun. Like all brutes are just fundamentally bad into Rune Blades, just because of like how the damage numbers work and them being able to like stack damage turn to turn.
Well, I was thinking Brute's good into Earth
Wow.
Heroes though. Like Brute should be good in these like long games where you get a lot of space. Like Levia's weaknesses are like decks that either take her to games that are like like you have to trade cards for so long that you just get fatigued, like Guardians that like force you to block with cards throughout the game, or it's just like heroes that like don't let you do your thing, that just like kill you immediately, like ninjas, or
Dude, I think she's
heroes that
A-tier.
like Florian is just this like slow dirtily deck that lets Levia do whatever she wants.
That
Has
just
like
depends on your Florian build.
no,
Like,
I think even the most like the more aggressive
No, but
builds
it's
of
like
Florian, are still-
Florian.
like
like,
you
the
just
game
let
goes
Levia
long.
do whatever she wants.
The game goes long, and Florian's hero ability is like make an extra rune chant, and Levia's ability is draw an extra card every turn.
That's if you get to flip. What I was saying before about Rune Blades is they're pretty good at denying flips with arcane damage.
I think Florian's like the worst at doing
Yeah,
that.
I don't.
Like without Germinate, like you don't really
It's not
have
reliable,
like,
though, right?
like
You
a
have Tree as well.
You have tree and arcane seeds are like
Yeah, you can, like,
like
take
there's
juice.
some threshold, but it's normally pretty easy, I think, for Levia to like control.
I mean,
where
just look
that
at the
is.
top tiers. Like Florian or Theorizing is like probably fine, but I think Kano's probably very good if you want it to be with your infinite
Yeah.
Spell Void 2 equipment. Azaleas should be good. Jarl should be good. Burden should be good. Prism should be great.
I
I
think
think Verdance is bad. I
Really?
think Prism.
Can you just go too
is
fast for Verdant?
good. I don't think Levia is fast into heroes that don't attack her.
Hmm.
Azalea is also just
That's fair.
close. That matchup's like
Here, I'm gonna put it at top of B tier, and then it can prove itself to move to A.
Yeah, I mean, based on just
Levia's
being
also
Levia,
just-
B tier is probably correct.
it's not going to have
yeah.
the play rate to be high enough anyway.
Yeah, that's
fair.
Sure.
I think it's a great meta for Levia, though.
Okay, Riptide.
He's just
Uh,
unplayable.
Fashion pick.
Yeah.
He was playable.
He was playable,
It's
but
an
now
S
I
tier
don't think
issue.
he's playable.
Yeah, without Azalea
Yeah.
or Aurora there.
Yeah, I agree. Passion pick him again.
Yeah.
Bravo. But the fatiguey Bravo is like a
Well,
thing.
You can also just like
Ignored new.
maybe play Bravo and just ignore new, and you
Yeah.
look at exactly Florian, and you can probably, I would think, with like Smack of Reality, you can probably build a Florian deck or a Bravo deck that is pretty good in the Florian, but I don't actually know if that's
That just seems like a C tier strategy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd
Oh,
be
what's
targeting
the
like
weight?
Florian, Azalea, and Prism,
yeah.
and just
I agree.
stacking the others. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
there's probably a playable build, but you shouldn't play it.
Phi.
I don't know. Probably B tier.
Potentially.
Has
A.
anyone tested Florian in
right?
time?
It
No.
feels like Phi's
I would
kit
feel-
should be bad into Florian, but it
I would feel
feels
so
like-
confident playing as Phi into Florian.
Interesting. I would think that Phi's kit is naturally kind of awkward into Florian, but I think he might be pushed enough where it doesn't.
It
But
depends on how
Fl-
much the equipment carries the Florian.
Yeah, that's my concern. Is that like he has equipment and he can just block for the first few turns. So if he has a strategy that can like leverage his hero power, I think also like that's pretty bad for Phi.
You do also like, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, but typically your power play is like popping your hat and having like a double finisher turn with your boots as well. And that's just like not possible into Florian because of Purgatory. Or at least it's much more awkward to do.
Yep,
It's just
it
not
can
that
be.
hard.
That's not what you're like playing towards. Like you're happy to just like
Yeah.
double
It's-
Emberblade.
yeah. Purg is not very good into Phi. It's
Okay.
It can be though. Like they don't choose when they draw a double finisher. Right.
Yeah, like I could see situations where you have a read and like normally when I'm purging into Draconic Ninja, I'm just like overblocking 4 like an attack for 4 like by a lot, but I'm getting the discard, so it's like kind of worth. Whereas Fi, I can see like actually getting 6 to 7 plus the discard.
He's almost certainly B tier. Like he can move up if the Florian matchup is like consistently good, but Azalea should be pretty terrible still. I think the
That
Kano
matchup's
matchups
never been
should be
bad.
fine.
Every time we tested,
Okay, the Azalea has never been that bad.
Fi always wins most of the games. Every single we've done this like 4 times. I feel like throughout the years, not necessarily just you and me, but like I feel like as with teammates, I've tested this matchup. Fi just always ends up being ahead.
It's like you're like flipping a coin. Like it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's like I was gonna say the same thing with Kano.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, its Kano match is better than most decks' Kano match.
Yeah, Jarl, I have no idea if it's good or not.
Yeah,
I think it's Verdance. Its Verdance should be fine. It's very strong.
Oh, Verdance should be like the buy. I would think that one I feel strongly about.
And then Prism is just going to be about how many poppers you can run.
Yeah, the deck's very linear. You deal 25 to 31 turn, and then you deal 13 every turn.
I think Fi could be like really good for these like 4 weeks. Like I'm like pretty convinced that if someone wants to sit down and actually like put time into Fi for like these next 4 weeks, it's like actually worth.
It's just like so hard to sit down and be like, I'm gonna work on this hero, and my end goal is to do the same thing every turn at whatever tournament I play it at. Like it just feels it feels kind of sad, like sitting down and being like, what are you gonna test for the new meta? Bye. Like I'm just gonna.
I would not test Fi for the new meta with the existence of even more Fi hate for some reason.
Yeah, you can, if you've played him a lot, you can capitalize for the next week or 2, but then back to the shelf.
Maybe he just LLs.
Yeah. I'm talking about strictly before the next set. But yes. Yeah. Okay. I'll keep him in B, but I wouldn't be surprised if like in real life he's a little higher.
Really
yeah.
It entirely depends on like the Florian and Jarl matchups. They might just be bad and then he's like C tier.
So what do we want to do for Dash IE? Because the only Dash IE I've seen is full pistol.
Yeah. I've seen hybrid, but same thing.
I mean, this is like epitome of passion pick. People just play it because they like it.
Yeah.
And some people will do okay with it because they've been playing the same cards for 3 years. But
there's a different dash that literally just like draws you a card every turn instead of once at the start of the game.
Yeah, I don't even think pistol dash is that good in this meta.
If you want to play like a slow setup deck, just play the stack Florian deck too. Like you're doing kind of the same thing, but in a much less interactable way.
Yeah, Dissolution Sphere is not the juice anymore. I mean, I guess it isn't a stack Florian, but
you just like you have to play it first. There's like, okay, I'll chill. I ain't worried. It's not like there's a revel on the board where they have a timer.
Sure. Acilio. I think Acilio is actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
I would say B tier currently with current known info. But I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up higher than that.
I agree with B tier.
Yeah, I don't have the experience to.
Who knows?
I would believe A.
I believe any number you told me.
He's missing a couple cards to be an A. Just like needs more glue cards.
But this deck's good. Like this card's good. Like Acilio's better than people think. I want to do Reinar. I kind of think Reinar's like A-ish.
Dude, you're smoking.
Like it's like top of BAT. Like it's very, very high.
You're very, very high.
I tried to learn the new Azalea deck today, and I just kept getting beat up by Reinar.
Like, well, so you know like, how we keep talking about these decks where it's like they're like X good, but in X meta they're like different. Reinar is just like a passion pick in an S tier meta. Like it doesn't matter that it's an
Reinar's so much better than passion pick, man. He's like default B tier power.
What?
Yeah.
Reiner's actually like pretty good. Any deck that ever wants like it's like semi blocking meta, and it just says you can't block. Like it removes the ability to block. You have to cut all your D-reacts basically when you play against him. And then he just asks you the question if you can actually play the game without D-reacts.
And he's still like good against Azalea and who else is up there?
And like
Prism.
Do you think Reinar is good against Azalea?
Oh, it's not, but they think it is.
I don't believe that for a second.
Azalea players are
definitely not bad.
Everybody thinks they're good into Azalea.
Dude, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I got like
definitely
2
is
arrows
bad.
that I want to block with and 2 pumps, and he intimidates my 2 arrows. What do? I get outvalued.
You just IP and then you're Azalea, so you just set it. Then you don't actually IP. Like, it's Azalea. Like it's actually the worst deck in the game for Intimidate. Like Intimidate does so little against Azalea because she never wants to block, and when she does, she doesn't have to. Like, oh, you intimidated me? Sure, I'll just use my snaps this turn. Like if I drew 3.
Sure, but he's also like removing your arsenal every turn.
Sometimes. It's like the only thing he has in the matchup. He has 6 CNCs.
He has 9
and
copies
then,
of this.
Wait, how 9?
I guess they have
The
more
new card.
now.
The Spoiled Skull? What is it called?
The one that
Splatter Skull.
Splatter Skull?
that one doesn't hit your arsenal.
No, but
It's the same
hitting a
concept.
random card from hand is like basically it's pretty close, I think.
I mean, it's not the same at all. Though. You have like cross wrap.
He also has like 14 block on equipment. Like
Yeah,
he
has
shuts
like
down your
sick
go again
equipment.
turn. Like it's a good.
You guys
matchup.
just don't have any Reinhardt players in your area, I think.
No, I do. I had 4 Reinhardts in my first ProQuest, remember?
It's the same as the KO matchup, but he plays less no blocks.
He's slower than KO, I think. Is the other thing.
He's slower, but he isn't.
Sometimes
because
he's got 2 claws,
when he
maybe.
has his big turn, he has 2 claws and he
Yeah.
says you can't block, so it's true damage. So
Yeah.
like, if you're going down even, he can just like draws the thing and then like combo finishes you.
Yeah.
It's like really annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does the same thing, no? Like you just find a dominate and they're dead at like 10.
Sure.
You do.
These are all arguments for, I think Reinhardt is a bad hero that the meta is like perfect for him right now and makes him like B.
This is some of the best he'll ever be, and it's still B.
You could probably make a higher argument, but I will
No.
acquiesce.
Show me the list that deserves to be A tier and I'll believe it. But I need to see the list and the performance and the play that actually proves that hero is not as poopy as it actually is.
Sure. Dorinthia, where's this thing at?
I have no idea.
Terrible, right? Like absolute garbage.
Probably.
Isn't it like significantly worse than it's ever been? Like Kano's like dumping on it, like Florian,
Well, it's weird
Jarl.
because like we don't know. We were in D-React meta because of Aurora. We don't really know where that's going.
Yeah, if we're still in slow meta, Dory's probably not very good. And it feels like we're in slow meta because all the aggro decks are just bad. So
Yeah, that's
Is
fine.
it a passion?
I don't think it's meaningfully worse than Kasai, though, no?
no,
It should
I
be.
wouldn't put it down there. I would just put it in C tier. It's just one of the
I mean,
like
Dorinthia
bad
didn't
decks.
win at Battle Hardened.
That's true.
Okay. Well, I think that is everybody. Just a quick recap. In S, we have Kano and Florian. In A, we have Azalea, Jarl, Verdance, and Prism. And then feel free to look at the rest of them because I'm not going to name them all off. But that is most of the top of the tier list right there. Any other comments before we jump out of the tier list?
No, I think S and A are the entire meta as it should exist.
Yeah.
Maybe Fang.
Yeah.
In A tier actually. I think
They'll
he's a
be
good
like-
part of the meta.
There'll be some Fangs and some Assassins that sneak in, but yeah, your top 8 should primarily comprise of the top 6 we have here.
Yep,
And I think at ProQuest, I would expect some of the like lower B and C tier heroes. Just like you get like 1 or 2 of those in every top.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that tier list was pretty well done. I was a little nervous for how it was going to go, but looking at the tier list, I think we kind of nailed it.
Yeah, we all
For
agreed.
sure.
The Earth kept spinning. It's wild.
We liked each other for the first time ever. Okay, so back to hating each other. But before we get to that, before we get to podcast questions, we have a pretty cool announcement to make. We have migrated our premium offerings over to Metafy. We still have our premium Discord, but what we've done is we've kind of laid out our 2 tiers into Metafy, and we've partnered with Gilded Raven Games to kind of make our offerings a lot better. I'm actually pretty excited about this. So for our silver tier, you get access to the Discord still. You get podcast questions. You get our hero of the month, which is a deck list that is voted on by everyone in the community. Then we go through, we do streams in the Discord that you have to have access in order to join. And then we put out a premium deck list every single week for that, or every single month for that. But because we've partnered with Gilded, this is a $5 tier, by the way, you actually get a coupon every single month that is $5 off your first $75 purchase. So if you went onto their website, used this code, bought a box of Flesh and Blood, got $5 off, essentially the tier is just free, which is pretty sweet. We also have our Gilded tier, which is our $25 tier. That one comes with all the same benefits, except you also get to submit a VOD that the team will then review. You know, whoever is best for the job. We have a massive team. Everyone gives us crap about that, but guess what? You can find the right person to review your VOD, give you feedback on all of your gameplay. And there's another code that you get from Gilded Raven Games where you just get 10% off any singles that you buy for the month. Like you get this every single month, which is pretty cool. Easy way to make the tier cost a lot less because you're essentially buying things that you'd be buying already.
You also get a written guide for the Hero of the Month product as well to help you kind of learn the deck and get the ins and outs of it and everything like that.
So we think these offerings are going to be pretty sweet. Also, we're going to be offering premium guides on heroes with deck lists, with explanations, with sideboarding that you can also purchase separately from any of these subscriptions. So you don't have to subscribe to get them. But the great part is we've been talking about it a bunch, but we're going to be putting out Noah's Florian list because everyone's been asking for it. So expect that when you're listening to this, there should be a link below that you can just click and go get access to that deck list, which is pretty cool. But I want to say big thanks to our sponsor, Gilded Raven Games, for giving us these promo codes so that we can offer them to you guys to kind of just make this whole process a lot easier, which is pretty cool. So something that we've been working on for a while. Now, let's get to some podcast questions. So first question here from Mr. Ark says, did any of you struggle with making blatantly incorrect plays impulsively? And if so, what did you do to get better? This feels like a personal attack. I have to answer this one because, yeah, I do that sometimes. On stream is, a good way to kind of get over that habit. But I would find that I really like to make the cute play. So like a situation would happen, I would see like the cute play, and then sometimes I would just make it kind of impulsively, or I would convince myself that it was actually the correct play, but maybe it wasn't. And so a good way to get over this is do it at Worlds, like the second between your lock-in round, basically, in order to make top 8 and then lose, or do it like in a top 8 and lose a top 8 match. Those kind of stop. But now I just kind of have a trigger in my brain when I see the cute play and I'm thinking about making the cute play. There's like a trigger that goes off that goes, hey, is this the right play or is this the cute play? And then since I recognize that, then I take like an extra second and be like, okay, am I making a cute play or making the right play? And this is like dramatically, in my mind, improved my play since Worlds of last year.
Yeah, this is something that I struggled with for a long time, and I actually still have problems with it sometimes, where I'll just play too quickly. I'll just not think about something for long enough. I think one of the easiest ways to fix this, and just something that's a good idea in general, is to have like a very structured process for how you play your turn. Like when you draw up, you should go, okay, this is what I want to do with this turn. Then you look at what your opponent does and you say, okay, how do I adapt this? And then you say, okay, these are the lines, and then I compare the lines, like very formulaic. And that will help you kind of avoid those like, ooh, I can do this thing, oops, why did I do this thing kind of situations. If you're more methodical with how you make decisions, that will probably go away to some degree.
Yeah, I think so. In golf, there's a term for this. It's called an anyways. It's when you like execute your swing without actually like doing your routine or thinking through it. So like the number one thing to avoid is like don't make a play when you can't explain to yourself why you're making that play. Like if you're just doing a thing because your brain says do it, that would be like an anyways. And usually that's the scenario you're describing where you're like just doing the thing and then you do it and you realize, oh shit, this is like the worst play I could have done here. Yeah, I agree with what Lucas said, and always check with yourself. Like, make sure you know why you're making the play you're making. If you can't explain it, then you gotta like figure out a way to keep thinking.
Yeah, and I think another thing too is try to leverage time management. So like, think on your opponent's time when they're doing their turn or they say that they're thinking. That's when you should also be thinking. So that way you're basically leveraging the clock, so you're not slow playing, but you're making sure that you're taking that extra second or two to ensure you put the cards in the proper zones. If it's literally just a misplay in terms of like, oh, I pitched the wrong card, or oh, I like played the card in the wrong sequence, just like leverage that extra time you gain from having proper time management and like thinking on your opponent's clock throughout the whole course of the game. Because I find that most of the time when I was making these like impulsively bad plays, it's when there was like pressure from some area where it's like, oh, we just hit second cycle and I'm trying to like think back of what my opponent could possibly have of what they pitched. There's like 5 minutes on the clock, right? That's when like the stress level is amping up. But if you're able to give yourself more of like that time bank so you can think later on and make sure you're not making a play that immediately loses you the game, then yeah, that's helpful.
I think also one thing that intermediate players will run into a lot of the time is you'll hear people talk about, like the pros will say things like, think on your opponent's turn. Like you really shouldn't be thinking on your own turn. You should know what you're doing going into your turn. But listening to advice blindly and like never changing it is kind of a bad idea. So double check. Like I think it's a good idea. You should know exactly how your turn's going to play out going into your turn, but it's good to double check still. You want to make sure that mistakes don't compound. So, don't get locked into your line and then just do it no matter what happens. Make sure that every time your opponent makes a block or sniffles a weird way or looks at their hand strange, you're reevaluating, and just make sure that throughout the whole process, like every time you make a play, like Dan said, just double check. Why am I doing this? Okay, cool. I'm doing this for this reason, this reason, this reason. Makes sense. Do it. Next thing.
I can't believe you're leaking the sniffle tech like that, man. Okay, wait. Sorry, one more thing. The most important thing.
Oh my God.
If you make a bad play, don't follow it up with a worse play because you're tilted. When you make a bad play, just like slice all the neural pathways that were created and then create new ones that are good plays. Don't let any bad plays influence your next plays.
Yeah, how good a play is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, don't make another bad play to like make that bad play a little bit better. Just act like
how
it didn't
good a
happen.
play is.
Mm-hmm.
Try again.
It's your turn.
Yeah.
How good a play is like has nothing to do with how good the previous play is, right? Like if you make a bad play, it's okay. Like just because you just made a bad play doesn't mean that your next play is going to be bad. I think that's one thing that a lot of people will have issues with is they'll make a mistake, and instead of not just being like I have to overcompensate, but a lot of people will also just like panic and be like, oh, I made such a shit play. Like what am I doing? Like, oh, I'm going to make another shit play, but like it's fine. We all make mistakes. Let's move on.
Agreed. And then don't try to make the cute one on stream all the time. It's so bad too. And for the people who don't know what I'm talking about, I'm literally talking about just like passing into a truce with an enigma. Like I made like a million arguments in my own head why this was like correct. And then I got like gassed up by like other people coming up to me telling me how great that play was after I had made it. Like at the tournament, people like saw it and they're just like that play was insane. Like, oh, it was so good. And I was like, got gassed up. And then like I sat down and thought about it. I was like, I'm just an idiot. Like, it's just like, sometimes I just wanted to do the thing. Like, and it was just wrong. And like,
I remember that tournament and I remember kind of having that opinion, but you were like so happy that you made the cute play that I kind of just like let you have your thing. I was like, I don't think that's right, but I'm just going to kind of let you have your thing.
We've all made the 3 cards in hand pass play once thinking, oh, they die next turn if this thing just doesn't happen.
Or, I knew they're drawing combo. So like I did like weird compound math where I was like, well, if they draw the extra card, then like they have a percentage that this is going to let them like play their combo off on me. And then like, I also have the odds of drawing this card and just instantly winning the game. And so like, if you put those 2 odds together, then like maybe this play is actually good. Like, and that's just like not how the game works. So
yeah, you also don't want to overthink.
Don't do that anymore. Okay. Next question from Millen asks, if someone is trying to get better, it is hard to see the results. What would you say is good results for someone who is trying to get better but has limited time to dedicate to FAB? You can use PQ and RTN or calling results.
You just want to look for improvement, right, over a period of time. So like the result itself doesn't matter, like top 8 or winning. Like compare it to your previous best results over like, I don't know, like 4 to 5 events is a good sample size. One event's kind of not really fair to compare, but just compare it to what your previous best was. And if you're winning more games, then you're improving.
I don't know. I don't think your results really dictate if you're improving it at all.
Well, the question was, what results should I look at?
Yeah, I think the answer is that you need to look in your heart. You need to like check yourself and like see how good you think you are, because results don't matter at all. There's so much variance, not just in like gameplay, but like also just in like the format you're playing in and the deck you choose, and you just can't control all that stuff. I think it's just much better to. I think it's important to set goals for yourself, but like I really just hate the narrative of people looking for results, because I think that there's a lot of.
I'm talking like aggregate results, like if your best record ever previously was like 2 and 4.
Yeah, I agree.
And now the past 3 events, you got 3 or more wins. Like that's meaningful.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I just mean like when people often walk up to me and they're like, I don't have this thing yet, but I'm gonna be good soon, or something like I kind of get this idea that everyone has a trophy case in their mind, and most people's trophy cases are empty, which means that
I have one.
Not just these are like mind
podcast, dude.
These are like mind trophies, right? Like these aren't just like physical trophies. Just like, top 8 of a ProQuest is a trophy, right? And everyone has this trophy case in their mind. But like people's trophy cases are not bigger because they're better. There's plenty of people with PT top 8s who are not as good as most people who do not, or not as good as a lot of people who do not have PT top 8s.
That
Right?
was not a sentence
Like
you wanted to fumble, man. Gonna get
there's
roasted again
great
on Twitter.
people. Yeah, there's great people who have top 8'd or who do not have not top 8'd, and there's not very good people who have top 8'd, right? Like there's just people on that spectrum at every level event in every game. Like not every game, right? But it's just how it goes.
I can give you a good way to try and reference how you should feel about your results without like looking at your results. So like if you go to a PQ, you should think about like how the games felt, like how you felt personally while playing the games.
Mhm.
Like, did the things feel good? Like when you're playing the games, are these situations that you can recognize, that you feel like you thought through properly, that you feel like you got to the right conclusion? Or were you lost? Did you get lost in the game? Did you make that mistake? Like, be honest with yourself. Like there were definitely times where I was playing at like my armory and I was like, I'm going to felling. And I'm like, I have an extra card in my hand. How did I get this extra card? Why did I not block with this? Like, I forgot the felling's going to get rid of the card. Like I did that like at my armory. And then obviously I didn't do it at the PQ because like I learned from the armory, but like I would have not have said I have done well at that armory, right? Like even though I went 3-0, like I could be honest with myself and be like, I made these mistakes. I didn't think about these things. Like, and then I went to the ProQuest, irregardless of what would have happened. I didn't make that mistake once. Like that's an improvement. Like you should be able to track these things yourself for like your own decisions. I didn't get lost in the games. I was like, oh, I'm going to do this until I draw these cards. And then I'm going to play this card. And I'm like, and that's what I did. And then like, that's how I felt like the game should be played. Like you should be able to know how lost or correct.
It really just is a feeling. I think that's a great way to put it. Like you can just feel walking out of some tournaments, even when you do poorly. Like I've had tournaments where I'll go like 2-3 and I walk out and I'm like, you know what? I felt comfy in those games. I was doing my thing and I lost. That's okay. And there are some games where I'll go 7-0 at a PQ and look back and be like, glad I drew that there. Like I just don't think that results should be how you view your improvement at all. They just don't matter.
Yeah, I think the results will come at some point if you continue to feel like you're making improvements. I think like Kevin Murphy is probably a pretty good example. He's just like been on a rampage recently where it's not like he woke up one morning and was like, oh, I'm a god gamer. I'm going to win every tournament. It's like there was incremental improvements. He finally got like the, first achievement of winning the Battle Hardened and then carried that momentum through. It's not like, again, he didn't transform into Palafin switching back into battle and becoming a hero mode, right? You just like incremental improvements, clean gameplay, and like a positive mindset, and then you'll continue to improve and eventually see the results that you can fill up that trophy case, as Lucas said.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And other good ways to improve, and Millen is already doing this, but is joining us on the Discord through the Metafy. And let's go ahead and do this. We'll have, if you sign up, since it's a brand new thing that we're doing, if you sign up for either of the subscriptions, the $5 tier or the $25 tier, we'll just give you the first month for free. So we will have 2 different promo codes in the comment section below. Feel free to use either of those. You'll get your first month free. You can come join us in the Discord. Hopefully that means we're going to have way more questions. We already have a ton of questions, but it's your chance to get in here. Check out the Discord, check out how Hero of the Month works, and you can do it for free through Metafy. Cool. Next question here.
You can also check out the gameplay review section, which is, I think, one of the things that people will be most excited for is getting coaching from the top minds for free.
Agreed. Frankly, my dear asks, this season, I've had a really tough time converting in the top 8. I've ended Swiss first or second seed 3 times in a row and gone from being locked in with type play and focused mindset to making silly mistakes after extended downtime due to deck checks, breaks before top 8. Do you have any tips on how to stay focused in an extended downtime to try and capitalize on the momentum gained during Swiss? Trying to win my last PTQ.
Dan does, right?
Dan, this is like a Dan question.
Experience and routine are the big two. It's like the more you're in that situation, the more you know like what your body needs and your mind needs to stay focused and sharp. For me, it's just kind of playing games but not overthinking them is usually good. Like if you have a buddy there who's either also, I guess you don't have your deck in this scenario. Yeah, that's pretty tough. I guess the best thing would just have like your pre-game routine and just follow that. So like you can chill out, but then 10-20 minutes before the game is actually going to be played, like do your focus up routine.
You can also one thing that helps some people that I've talked to is you can like watch games on your phone, or just talking about the game helps some people. Some people it's just like you just lose focus if you start talking about other stuff. So maybe don't like go to lunch and start talking about your favorite TV show with your friends. Like maybe just like stick around and talk about the matchup for 2 hours. Like maybe not literally that, but you can just talk about FAB and competitive FAB related stuff, just stuff that you think is relevant-ish. If you can, honestly, like if you have a 30-minute break and you can just like talk to your friends about a matchup for 30 minutes, I think that's a great way to do it. Don't overthink things, right? But
yeah,
stay locked in.
I have two things. First, I think at like the PQ level, it's a misplay to get food during a break because you're just going to get sleepy, and it's only 3 more rounds. Like you can get food after. You'll survive, I promise. Stay hydrated and stay caffeinated if that's what you need, but I don't recommend getting food during that like break before top 8. One thing you can do is, I mean, you don't have to write the novels that I write for my tournament reports, but writing up like your thoughts on how the tournament went so far, I think can be like a way of kind of collecting yourself and staying in the mindset of your deck. If you don't have like actual people to talk to about the matchups, maybe you're like, in a unfamiliar location, just go in there, getting first in Swiss, clowning on these fools. So you can either talk with other people like Lucas and Dan mentioned, or just like write notes to yourself about how you intend on playing matchup. Another thing you can do too is usually the brackets are determined. So you can like re-review your intended sideboard, decide how you want to go first versus second in all those matchups, kind of like preliminarily like determine how your path to success will go.
Yeah, I have a couple. Whatever you've been doing, just do the opposite, because obviously what you're doing right now doesn't work. Like I can't. Like if you've been eating every time between, stop eating. If you haven't eaten anything, maybe you should eat something. Like, but whatever you're currently doing, just don't do that, because that one's obviously wrong. But like have like a granola bar or something if you need to. But if it's that amount of time, I just kind of walk. You could just walk and then go through all the games that you've just played in your head, because then you're still engaged. Like it shouldn't take that long to do.
It does sometimes.
Sometimes it does take like 2 hours.
Like, it should not be 2 hours between Swiss and then the other thing. Like at that point,
we're adapting to nature here. It doesn't matter what should be going on.
At that point, I'd just be complaining.
We're in the Wild West.
Like, there's no reason to be 2 hours between Swiss and Top Cut. Like
these judges just have to make
because
sure.
deck checks, but yeah.
But that doesn't take 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like
you said the right word.
I met some of these judges.
Whatever you need to do to stay engaged, that is what you want to do.
Yeah, whatever you've been doing, just do the opposite next time. It'll work, because we figured out what doesn't work. Perfect. Paxi says, how many chicken nuggets can you finish in one sitting? Sauces and drinks are allowed.
I assume we're talking like
Too
tiny
many?
round ones from like Wendy's or McDonald's, right?
Yeah. And also to clarify, this is saying
biters.
can, not like normally, right? This is like if is there prep time?
I
would say probably
like if I have 3 days to prepare.
I would say if you just haven't eaten and you get to choose the time of day, like you haven't eaten since yesterday, and you can select a time window during today when it's time to chow down.
Yeah, I would think I'm a smaller person. I'm not gonna get past like 40.
You're at 20 cap. Come on.
Yeah,
I've eaten many dinners with you.
Like 25.
I eat many dinners with.
No. Well, but that's this isn't like everyday Lucas like what he normally eats. Okay. This is like hungry Lucas.
You are a snacky
like,
boy, so I understand.
Yeah. Also, crucially for me, one big thing is like I get exhausted of flavors very quickly. But if I can like dip them in different sauces, I feel like I just go down the line. But I don't think I can ever get more than like I'm picturing 2 20-piece nuggets from McDonald's. And there's just no way that more than that fits.
I'm slowing down after 10. I'm getting a little bit over 20. Pretty sure.
I just don't believe that Dan actually puts prep time into it. I just don't believe that that's the kind of activity that Dan would invest time into.
Too busy.
No.
I mean, everyone's seen me eat all-you-can-eat sushi, so quite a lot. That's a bit much. That's just like not.
You have to have the want to eat it. That's the issue. Like I can eat 40 pieces of sushi, but like, there's no way I'm getting past like 20, 22 chicken nuggets because I just don't want.
I mean,
It gets
I-
rough quick, yeah.
Yeah.
60 is pretty easy, but I'd have to sit down and look at like 80-ish,
Yeah, I think I'm in the 60 range unless there's significant
like
motivation.
60 to 80 range. Yeah. Once they get cold, then I'm probably going to tap out. So if they're like coming out fresh, then I can
if they're
infinitely keep.
crispy,
I can
At
keep
some
going.
30.
point, your mouth is
Yeah.
going to start to taste like McNugget, and you're going to realize that, like, you're not cut out for this. Like,
Please don't ever test me on this. I don't ever want to go through with this challenge.
I mean, I would do it for money,
Yeah,
but
there needs to be some.
also
I would
Also
not do
right
it for
now,
money.
We're
right now I'm on
American,
like
we
a
do anything.
very strict diet where I'm just like eating mainly just vegetables and
Mm.
fruit and like nothing processed. So like sitting down and eating 80 McNuggets sounds like heaven right
You
now.
would just
So
die, I think. Just McNugget poisoning.
okay, Renzo asks, according to the dev talk, Aurora was the fourth best at converting and stuff. But what do you think has been the first, second, etc.?
Starvo Chain Lexi.
No. It's this format. Converting and PQs.
Oh.
Kano is
I mean,
probably number one.
Yeah, Kano, Florian, Prism.
Probably just
Maybe
the other
Azalea.
that got lots of wins. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
It's probably like Kano, Slippy, and something else. It's gonna be like those ones that like got wins,
Yeah, like Vincent.
but like weren't overly played.
Yeah, it's gonna be those like people who know what they're doing play these decks, and people who don't
Yeah.
know what they're doing don't play these decks. Kind of.
It's got to be Florian.
I don't think so. Well, maybe like third,
He almost matched all his wins.
but maybe not. I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's
I
not.
bet
in top four.
60% of them were playing Scepter in every matchup. Like,
Yeah,
I
I don't
just
agree.
I just don't have faith in these Florian players.
It's definitely Kano, but then it's gonna be like some other just like
Yeah, it's probably like Prism and stuff like that. I would think.
It could be
I would
Kasai.
think.
Lucas was boosting the Kasai win rate, right?
True.
And it could be a random
True,
deck
yeah.
that only played like 4 events, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of controls they put in place to like
Yeah.
get rid of outliers, right? So
Yep.
it's pretty hard to judge. Carnivore asks, what do you expect to be banned leading up to High Seas release? Is there anything that stands out currently as too strong or something for new heroes that might be? This is what we were saving.
Well, nothing's
earlier
too
thing
strong.
for.
Codex of Frailty one time. Yeah, I think it's like the least bannable
No
it's
world.
ever been. It's so bad.
Yeah, it's
I'm
so
so mad
sad
about
dude.
it.
Maybe that's why it's the most bannable it's ever been.
I hope
I think
so.
CYB is gone.
I think so too. It just if they're talking about like fundamental shifts to the game, potentially like that just feels like the most obvious. Like everybody hates this
I think
shit.
it
Nobody
might be,
wants it in the
but
game.
You guys think it's problematic right now?
I
It
don't
doesn't
think it has to be
matter.
problematic.
I
If
think
they're
it's like
All
talking
of the
really
worst
good.
strategy,
if
all of the
I-
worst strategies use it. That's
Yeah.
that's
if they're looking at bans that do anything other than address a meta concern, which currently there is no meta concern, so these bans are exclusively.
Wait, I have so many meta concerns.
I think for
Dude, 2 of the 3
like,
best decks are Kano and Azalea.
I think.
This is the worst meta.
You guys think? I think Kano hits are maybe an outlier there. I think Kano could get hit because
I
of
think
none of
floodgates
this.
are like for sure getting hit. Maybe potions, which would be kind
You
of
should just
crazy.
when a card is hit in LL, how can that card not be hit in CC? There's just like a meme, no?
Oh, you're talking about
I
Summer
think-
Salt?
No,
I
Floodgates.
think there's a Kano ban for sure.
Floodgates is at 1 in LL, no?
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so like how is that card at 9 in CC?
I can live with the Kano ban, but I don't want to lose open the floodgates. I like playing.
I don't
Inverteds.
either. I love floodgates.
But no, I think there's going to be a Kano ban. I think there's a CYB ban.
I think
I
Grasp
actually
is
think-
finally gonna go.
That'd be sweet.
Uh,
I would love a grass
Well,
ban.
let's just
That would
I don't
be very
think-
I don't think they
interesting,
have the
but I
ball.
don't
we
think
have to
so.
differentiate between real life and imagination land.
I think it should go.
Of course it should go. It's OP.
I think it is within the realm of possibility that given that they're printing in a new Aurora next year, and given that Florian is perceived to be as strong as he is, and they potentially won't have the LL system updated to their liking until after Florian is gone, I could see if they hit Florian in that way now.
I just don't know if I have faith in good bannings. That's kind of where I'm at now.
Oh, I have no faith in good bannings anymore.
Because I kind of agree
give
that
up.
Fate Scene makes a lot of sense. Because they can't ban Sync after doing
Whatever,
back-to-back promos.
But- There's reasons that they can and can't ban everything, but like it's never mattered before.
No, they like actually can't ban Sync.
I mean, you think Reaping Blade's getting hit? Because I would not be
Yeah,
surprised
Reaping
if
Blade might get hit.
got hit.
Reaping Blade get hit. Wouldn't it be funny if like Reaping Blade gets hit but no CYB, and then all of the comments on everywhere are just like
Yeah, it's like
Ugh,
reaping,
those haters.
CYV, all the D-reacts,
What about like
they
preemptive
all-
hits for the high
codex.
seas?
Yeah, preemptive
Death
high seas
Dealer.
hits as well. Like, Death Dealer could be on the chopping block, I think.
They'll solve the Azalea
I just
problem.
I don't think I just don't think they would do Azalea that way. Like
I
just
don't
ban
think
her
so.
weapon out from under her. I just don't think they'd do that.
Just
to
on
her.
the list of
I-
like ban-worthy.
It would
cards,
have to
right?
have breaking something like Oak is probably gone, right? Like
Well, so the
Traverse
thing is,
universe.
if you look at
Yeah.
how they've been like, I think the other reason that they probably can't ban Death Dealer is because they like made an Azalea armory deck. It's kind of weird to like ban
When does that ever
that
matter?
and then be like, yeah, everybody play Sandscour Azalea after we like release an armory deck with Death Dealer. Like that's kind
It was a name counter deck.
Yeah.
I
Think
don't think
about
that dealer needs to be banned now because she'll just LL soon enough. It's like it'll be fine.
Yeah. It is interesting though because Marlin is either designed with Death Dealer existing or designed in the context of Death Dealer not existing, and Death Dealer probably is just like breaks the game.
Oh.
Would be my guess. Like I feel like it's very possible that they were like Azalea will either LL or will ban Death Dealer. Either way, Marlin can't exist with it, or
So-
they'll just be like Marlin exists with Death Dealer, and it's fine.
what they're either going to ban 3 of a kind or the boots that give everything go again.
Yeah.
Like probably one of those two.
Those are the two easiest targets, I think.
Like
Yeah.
one
I
of
think
those
for
two
sure.
they're going to ban.
Mhm.
Maybe
Or
Siren's
Rain
Call
Races.
finally.
Rain Rages I could see being the other. They could go the other way where they like let you do all your arrow stuff, but like it's just not like 1,000,000 damage. Like if you have to put your
I would love
if you're just shooting,
like some cleanup bans. Like if they banned like Traverse,
yeah,
maybe like Metamorph or Clasm, like Tumultai, just like these cards that like aren't real now. Maybe
Yeah.
Kasaya too, but just like future proof later design because those cards are just like all stupid.
Well, Kasai is perfectly fine, man.
But
You're way out of line.
It gets 9 resources and blocks too,
You
and
were
maybe
way
blocks
out of line
10,000.
there.
maybe blocks 10,000. You said
Like what?
Cool.
Oh, also ban every Fable, please. I have to say that every time we talk about bans.
good fucking.
Scabskins. Please
Oh,
ban
ban
Scab.
Scabskins and Tunic too.
Oh yeah, it's definitely Tunic time, right?
I'll be Omega nerfed when they ban
Tunic
Tunic,
time.
but they should do it.
They're
I like how we
it's
get to
not
the
half-
end of the discussion and we just start throwing out absolute nonsense.
Because
Also-
All of these cards are entirely ban worthy.
yeah, exactly. There should be like 20 cards on the
Worthy
list.
and bannable are just like not the same thing though.
Yeah, fair.
Just
I
talk
would
about
not be
things that break the
surprised if
game.
any of those cards got banned.
Tweedle asks, anyone hyped for Verdance or still just Lucas?
Just Lucas.
Just Lucas.
Just Lucas.
Definitely Lucas.
The York Knight asks, with recent discussions about the living legend, how would you feel if they got rid of the system entirely? For me personally, I would be sad to see it go, as it feels core to FAB's current identity and experience.
Me too.
Yeah, I think we're
Same.
very far from that occurring. It's not that deep
I-
at the moment.
The thing is on the talk, I didn't like that James White mentioned, like, we don't have to use the LL system. I still think there's improvements that we can make to this and, like, rework some things to make it work better.
Oh, I
but,
didn't
like,
hear that.
we don't, in the future, we don't have to use the LL system. I'm like,
Well, I don't
you
like
kind
that
you
at
kind
all.
of should.
Cool.
Like,
What do you
the LL
mean you don't
system's
have
great.
to?
Yeah.
Please don't
But
change it.
That's legitimately what he said on the dev talk.
I mean, it's
So-
not a
It is
bad
scaring
mindset
me
to
more and
have.
more. It's
It
a
makes-
good
it
mindset,
makes
but I'm
sense.
scared because I don't want it to happen.
But he said specifically they're looking at, like, the game lasting, 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
And so, like, if the system doesn't work or there's fundamentally causes an issue, then they will remove it, even if it's a key feature like that.
Yeah, they'll
'cause they're
figure it
looking at the longevity of the game.
FAB 2.0, I'm telling you.
But I like the LL system, and I currently have no complaints about it, other than if you get rid of it, can I have chain back? Like, Grog asks, what is holding Phi back, and is it finally time to shine? If not, what does he need? It is. It is. All of your hopes and dreams have happened, and you should play Phi right now.
You should play him for 3 weeks and then
You don't have news
Yeah.
in your meta.
put him away.
Maybe even if you have news in your meta, who knows?
If you have
Probably
news,
not.
don't play.
Because they're all playing the like target banish cards right now.
Yeah, it's
That's the real issue. Like, the real issue with Phi is nothing. Is the only thing is things hit the graveyard. Like, if the graveyard was still the place it was before, where it was just safe to have
Phoenix Flame
your
needs to stay
Phoenixes in there?
indestructible
yes,
Yeah.
from graveyard.
then it would just be the deck would be actually really good.
they need to print Macrocosmos for Phi.
That's just not what you think.
The
Yeah, there
reverse.
you go.
It's not how
Land
that
game.
works.
Iron Wall. Iron
Okay.
Wall.
Yeah, there you go.
Anything that gets removed goes back into the graveyard.
Yeah, Iron Wall.
Okay.
That's
There
what
you
it
go.
is, yeah.
Okay. Wardo77 asks, what is a better elo system in your opinion? I live in a small community and would have to spend thousands each year to travel costs just to attend more than 2 to 3 rated events. It really dampens my ability to advance in rankings.
Right, good news.
With good news, it's going away. I have better news. You don't have to play in anything other than tier 4 events for ranking. Like just one tier 4 event and you're just the top of the ranking if you do well.
Mhm.
And we all pay lots of money in order to travel to those events. So we're all on the same playing field for that.
Did Shoma
think that's the
Yamamura
biggest
play a competitive event before winning the Pro Tour and becoming first place?
Who?
Don't know.
Oh, Shoma?
Yeah.
I think
Like,
he
I'm-
played like
I'm
a
sure
Battle Harden or something.
I'm sure there was like a couple events that he played before, but like practically he probably only played like 1 or 2 rated events before.
Yeah.
And then was first after he won. If that just gives you like any indication. Like it's just, ELO is just a Pro Tour. Who did the best of the last Pro Tour is what the ELO system is.
Yeah, but they want a better system.
Yes, we'll see.
We'll figure it
Yeah,
out.
I don't know what that looks like.
It's coming out next
Anything but what we have is probably
The
better.
computer scientists have figured it out.
year.
And yeah, kind of the point to travel to the big rated events is like that's like the payoff. Like you don't go there to necessarily farm your elo. That's just like the payoff after doing well.
Mhm.
So
Most of us just ignore elo, and then if we happen to happen to have done well at a recent major event, then some people will like not play some events to keep their
Yeah,
elo
like
up
I
get
get
a
to
free
scoop
invite.
the finals of my ProQuest because I have high elo. But
Yeah.
like it's not like a thing that I'm going out, like you said. I'm not seeking out.
and it's a nice point of very kindly making fun of your friends when they have lower elo because it doesn't matter and it's not actually indicative of their skill.
Well, I mean, when my
I-
elo is good, it's indicative.
Of course,
Other
yeah.
people's- My elo is bad. It's
Yeah, then
We
elo
were
doesn't
second
matter.
in the world once.
When I was third in the world at one point in time, obviously I was third in the world, but now it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But
now it's nonsense. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like I've gone from third in the world to like 300th, 500th, back up to like 17th. Like it just doesn't matter. You just up and down over and over again. Cooney asks, do you guys have any advice for improving without a team or without locals to bounce ideas off of? Every LGS that runs FAB events is about an hour away from me, and I hate driving. Well,
go ahead.
I'm gonna-
Everything
everything I drive to is you don't want to get that much better. I'm sorry. Like it's like an hour away is like not that
Oh,
big of a
that's
deal.
not what I
I drive an
thought.
hour to every event. Like
That's not where I thought we were going with that. We thought you
That's
were
where I'm
going
Yeah, I thought you were gonna plug the Discord,
No.
man.
I thought we were plugging.
no, I'm gonna get there in a
Join
minute.
our
But
premium Discord. You should get coaching from top pros. You should get monthly hero of the month guides. These are all things that can help you improve at Flesh and Blood without locals.
I agree with all those things. I also
also,
agree that
yeah,
like
you
you got to
probably
drive an hour to events. Like not like I'm not saying like armories. Like you don't have to go drive an hour to armories. But like if your PQ is like an hour away, like you got to
Well, I
be
think-
willing to travel within that.
I think
That's
what he's
fair.
saying is that like week to week, he wants to get better. And for most
Yeah.
people, that looks like going to armories, seeing what other people are doing, having fun, and having some level of improvement there, and like talking to people. And it seems like that's not practical. So I would say Talashar's a good friend. Gameplay review is your best friend. Legitimately, the Runaways Discord and other similar online communities where you can bounce ideas off of people are going to be your best friend. There's no secret strategy. Like you are in a worse position than other people, obviously. But you have access to all of the same online tools. So just make use of those, find what works for you. Look at people's coaching, look at people's different Discord servers that might have different groups of people to test with, things like that. Just see what works for you, but just talk to people online.
Also, you can like start small with going to locals. Just make it like once a month. Like you can surely make it out to an hour drive like once a month, and then use that as like a way to keep your skills sharp of like IRL play, and then just leverage the online tools that we have in the meantime.
Yeah, this is as I've stated pretty time, this is less directed at the person asking the question and more of the sentiment, because I have heard the sentiment multiple times. Like I have locals who want to get better, but then they like don't go to the RTN that's like an hour away, and it's like, but you don't want to get better then. Like you like that's fine. You don't have to want to get better, or maybe you only want to get certain better, but like you're not putting in, that all the effort if you need to do that. Obviously, Cooney's putting the effort in because he's a Gilded Tier sub. He's going to submit. He's going to submit a VOD this month, and we're going to review the VOD and help improve that way. And he'll be better for it. But like, I just hear this argument quite often. It's like you kind of just got to do the thing. Like,
yeah, I think before that, like,
get better.
For focused improvement on your own, just like create some kind of process and then just like evaluate how it's doing and iterate on it. Like if that's play one game a night and record it and then review it the next day, or give it to a buddy to like give you notes. Just put something together that you can like iterate on and like give yourself feedback on if it's working or not.
Have a process. Don't spend 3 hours playing Talishar games.
Yeah. Okay. One more thing too. I don't know if this is a positive mindset, so if this doesn't work for you, feel free to ignore it. But like whenever I have to drive a long way, I get like really motivated to do well at the tournament I'm going to, because I'm like, I don't want that 2-hour drive back where I'm just so salty the whole time because I made a huge misplay. Like I'm more locked in, I find, when I like have risk. Exactly. When I know that like I'm taking a risk, I'm like spending a lot of time that's just like effectively wasted time in the car, right? To go play in this tournament. So I'm going to make sure I do well at the tournament.
Agreed. Giltic asks, how do you feel about them bringing Aurora back so quickly while other fan favorites are still waiting to be replaced?
They're not as fan favorite as Aurora, and they weren't as well designed as Aurora, probably. So I think it's good to have heroes that LSS likes and gives favorite to. And if the new player pipeline works and they can like properly reintroduce that next year, then excellent.
I think
I'm all for Aurora.
It's like a relatively simple answer that Aurora's hero power is just like whatever. Like Aurora is basically just her card pool, her weapon that like make her good. Whereas if you look at something like Icelander, like her hero power fundamentally changes the entire game, right? Dromai, like the hero power fundamentally changes the game. So without just making a 1-for-1 retrain, if they want to actually make like a different iteration of it, like how they did with Vincent and Chain, where it's like completely different now, that's just like a much longer development process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, new Aurora can literally be just some hero ability.
Yeah, there's like games where you activate the hero power like once or twice the whole game. It's like whatever, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah,
it's for sure the new player experience though. Like that just needs to take priority.
They have proven that if they do the new player experience correctly, like it works. Yeah. Like Aurora works. Like just the pick up this deck, go from this deck, and this is how everyone jumped on it. It almost worked too well. It became too popular, and then it just like overwhelmed all the events. And then they also had a couple of mistakes that like let it get a little too powerful. And if they had just scaled that back, it would have still probably LL'd this year, maybe. But maybe like, but probably later in the year, or maybe beginning of next year. But like, it was eventually just going to overwhelm the system by the amount of people who are playing it. And we saw that in formats where it wasn't even close to the best deck.
Yeah, like Blitz. Like it was the most played deck in Blitz, and it was just like not good.
So they just like need to take that formula to a new deck, and then just like it's a good learning experience. At least they know that like the onboarding works, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Well, it's been a long one. But that was been a good one.
If you listen this far in the video, you made it to the end, put in the comments what cards you think are going to be banned on the next ban list, so you can look like a genius when you predicted the future.
Yeah. And just to reiterate, we do have free codes for the first month off of your subscription to Metafy, and also find the Florian deck list as well on our Metafy. See you guys.
Yeah, we're getting rid of the envelope here, but
What we could do here is go ahead and play the envelope.
All 3 pitches of Envelope and Darkness.